everything for them. Gets a lot of rebounds, tenacious defender, and so I'm sure the Huskies will keep their eye out on her.
Demaya Porter wins the tip, and the Jaguars get the first possession this evening. In this clash of Southwest versus Pacific Northwest. Porter going to work against Grabovskaya. It popcorns off the rim, and the transfer from Michigan comes up with the rebound. The Huskies race the other way. Stein's a reverse layup attempt, and it's swatted out of play by the Jaguars.
And we'll see that a lot today from Washington, looking to get in the passing lanes and get in transition quickly for some easy layups.
Steins holds it at the top of the key, finds Sellers for a right wing three, left it short, knocked out of bounds. Southern basketball.
And that's a good look for Sellers, even though it missed pretty badly right. That's in rhythm, and that's the kind of look you want to get her going.
She was Big Ten Player of the Week just a couple of weeks ago. Also one of 5 National Players of the Week after helping the Huskies get wins against Utah and Montana. Jalea Reed using the head fake, steps back and takes the mid-range jumper and finds nothing but net.
Maybe a bit of miscommunication there from Grabovskaya. Didn't know if she should have picked up the player there at the elbow, and ended up being a wide open look.
Reed scoring almost 7 points per game. A former Mississippi Valley State Devilette. Tegan Brown cuts back door and puts home an easy deuce.
Beautiful backdoor pass there, great vision.
Tied at 2s here, 90 seconds in. Deshante Edwards crossing over on Avery Howell, floats it into the corner. Reed, who had Southern's first bucket, terminates the dribble. Pass batted into the backcourt. Just 5 now for Southern to shoot. Zaria Hurston running out of time. Misses everything, and the Huskies want to push the pace. Sellers, full head of steam. She's fouled.
There, we'll take a look at that finish from Tegan Brown. Great backdoor. If Southern is playing up high and trying to cut off those passing lanes to go straight to the basket and end up with a wide open look.
Sellers toes the stripe. First one rattles off. She is a great free throw shooter, though, 77% for the season. A year after the Huskies almost broke the program's single-season free throw percentage record. She makes the second, and Washington goes up 3-2. Edwards finds Reed in the corner. Steins with a skip pass to the USC transfer. Howell, who cashes in a tray.
And those drives and kicks are providing some wide open looks for the Huskies so far. They're playing at the pace they want and speeding Southern up, getting in transition and getting open looks.
On the other end, it's Michaela Chaos Cunningham with the deuce. Lots of transfers on this Southern roster, including Cunningham, who came over from Lindenwood University. 11 of 15 Jaguars played at a different school before coming to Baton Rouge. Huskies up by 2 as Steins penetrates. Howell open in the same spot. That one pops off, and we got a foul against Reed, boxing out against Tegan Brown.
I think they're going to say she undercut her on that rebound. You take a look at Howell with the 3 earlier. She started off the season perfect from 3 and it has since cooled down, but it's good to see her knock down some shots early here this game.
Yeah, she went 4 of 4 in the Huskies season opener against Seattle U. Had a career high 18 points, matching a number she put up a couple of times during USC's NCAA tournament run last year. She really elevated her game after Juju Watkins went down with injury. But now she's back to the Pacific Northwest after growing up in Idaho and hoping to help the Huskies improve upon last year's tournament resume. McGoy off the heel and boarded by Hurston. Plenty of length for the 6-foot junior guard Hurston, who averages 5 rebounds per game on top of her team-leading 11 points. Here's Kiana Wilson, a senior from Jacksonville, Florida. Takes the handoff. Tegan Brown with tremendous defense. Now she knocks it away. Great hustle plays by the senior out of Sacramento.
And really good job not fouling there as well, keeping the play alive and forcing the turnover.
Huskies still up by 2, 6 minutes on our first quarter clock. Howell tees up a 3. That one swirls out, and Wilson tracks down the board.
And even though Howell's missed a couple threes here after making her first one, she's been open for all of her shots, and she's doing a great job relocating after the drive in for an easy kick out.
Bryn McGoy is whistled for a hand check there, her first personal foul. And the first team foul against Washington as Devin Coppinger comes into the game. Tegan Brown takes a seat. Southern 1-4 to start the season, playing their 5th ranked opponent. Wilson stutter step, wild shot, and the freshman McGoy the rebound. Steins from the left wing. Too much muscle.
Maybe going a little bit too fast there, but Washington is just tenacious, relentless right now on defense. They're playing pretty switch heavy on a lot of these screens, and whenever Southern drives to the basket, they're doing a good job of keeping their hands up and not fouling and forcing some difficult shots.
Defense has been the modus operandi for Washington, limiting their opposition to 48 points per game and just 32% from the field. They won against Vermont on Sunday, 71-39. Coppinger rattles that one off. McGoy battles for the board, double teamed, able to kick it out. Steins off the ball fake, passes inside, Howell, and one. The sophomore from Boise, Idaho, sinks the free throw, and the Huskies take a 5-point advantage. Southern won both the regular season and tournament titles in the SWAC last year. Also won a NCAA tournament game against UC San Diego. Traveling violation called there against Wilson, and the Huskies will get the ball back. But with that win, Dennis, Southern became the first SWAC program to win a NCAA tournament game in any women's sport. So a landmark victory really for this program last year.
That feels like a surprising fact, but you know, they're a very well coached team, and they did end up losing to UCLA in that first round of the NCAA tournament. But just to make history like that and then bring in a team of so many new faces, it will be interesting for them to see how their season goes this year compared to last.
And there you see Carlos Funchess, almost a decade now as the leader of this program, but he has been on staff for 2 decades, and he's guided the Jaguars to 3 NCAA tournament appearances just in those 7 previous years as head coach. Jocelyn Tate, the hand check against Sienna Harvey, and that will be the first foul on the sophomore. A look back at the bucket from Steins using the little hezzy move to get to the 10.
Yeah, sneaky there to use the left hand to flip it up quickly before the defense could react to a shot.
McGoy will pull the mid-range jumper. It's offline, and Tate snares it on a bounce. Legway Backpedals and resets the offense, guarded by Howell. And Southern trying to end a 4-minute scoring drought. Legway switched her pivot feet, and that's a travel. 4th turnover committed by Southern, and Washington's yet to give it away.
And Southern's not moving the ball very well. They're trying to set a lot of screens and get the ball handler going, but Washington plays such a switch-heavy, almost zone-like defense that it's making it difficult for those ball handlers to drive into the lane without any ball movement.
Well, and Washington has so many players who can play almost any position that they're happy to make those switches on the perimeter when the offense of their opposition is just playing pitch and catch. Tegan Brown with the Euro step all the way to the rim, and then she scoops it in.
And Tegan Brown is one of those players. Their guard depth is just so impressive, and they're just really a plug-and-play team. I mean, we talk about Savia Sellers and obviously El Ladin, who has not played yet this year, as being stars for this Husky squad, but they're very deep, especially at the guard position.
And right now, it's 5 guards on the floor. This is the smallest unit that you'll see Washington run with, as you see Brown knifing back to her left before kissing it home.
Yeah, who do you reckon is the center here, technically? Maybe it's Sienna Harvey?
Well, they had Tegan Brown guarding Anaja Hall, the 6'5" center for Southern, but she's out of the game now. Probably Brown. That runner is offline, shot clock violation, and the stifling defense from Washington continues.
And even with 5 guards on the court, it's still difficult for Southern to get a clean look at the basket. Just a really good job keeping their hands up and staying vertical and making those shots difficult.
Vermont shot just 29% against the Huskies on Sunday, and Washington has its eyes on an even lower number today. Coppinger wide open, splashdown. The Dogs go up by a dozen.
And once those shots start falling, it's going to be difficult for Southern to keep up with Washington. They've gotten a lot of good looks, especially from 3 early on to start here, and the pace has just been blistering.
That was a good move by Olivia Delancey, but she can't finish with the left hand. Here comes Sienna Harvey, the Australian freshman, who steps through, but throws too much on it off the glass. A 10-0 Washington run over the last 3 minutes and change. Turnaround floater is good from Jocelyn Tate. Finally, that scoring drought ends at almost 6 minutes. Harvey looking for redemption, and this time she draws the foul.
And even on a made basket, Washington's pushing the pace. That was good defense from Sellers. And as we take a look at the 3 from Coppinger, good D from Sellers on the other side of the court to help. And it was a tough shot for Southern. But even after a make like that, where you play such good defense, that can sometimes feel demoralizing, they're just going as soon as they get the ball.
Well, that's such a good point. Washington never puts their heads down. They're not demoralized by giving up a bucket. And they often catch their opposition by surprise, because off a made basket, they are looking to run and score in a flash. Harvey makes them both, and the lead is back to a dozen. Sellers the swat, turning away Legway. Briggs off the head fake, knifing inside, she's fouled. Savia Sellers, only 5'7", but she's such a crafty defender.
Yeah, she got caught behind going over on one of those off-ball screens, but did such a good job recovering to block that shot, and again without fouling. I mean, so far in this game, Southern has struggled to get any clean looks at the basket.
You see her rubbing her hands together there. It looked like she's enjoying feast week here. It is Thanksgiving week after all. This feels when basketball season is really starting to hit its stride. All the holiday tournaments, so many great games, and lots of downtime to enjoy them, hopefully for the fans at home. Coppinger, the stick back, falls off, and it's boarded by Reed. Sellers brings the double team and pries it away. Pushing pace, and she was able to push off with that left arm, but it draws a foul. So that'll be her first personal.
And a great job by Sienna Harvey fronting that post player. Southern was trying to go quick, give Washington a taste of their own medicine, but great awareness from Harvey to go around and poke that ball free.
Hurston. 10 seconds between shot clock and game clock here as we approach the end of the first. Tate has used that move a couple of times. Nice bucket from the sophomore.
And Jocelyn Tate seems to be the only one who's able to get anything going so far here for Southern.
3 seconds on the clock. Briggs all the way to the cup, but misses the scoop shot. Ending
a year, I mean. They did make the first four as an 11th seed last season in the NCAA tournament, and this year they'll look to make it a bit farther than they did. But it is a gradual improvement every season for Tina Langley.
Yeah, you see the improvement year in and year out. The first year, you could tell they were laying a foundation. She didn't have all of her recruits in the program yet, but in just year two, they won 12 more games than they did in year one, qualified for the WNIT, made it to that tournament's Final Four. Just 2 years later, they get their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2017. So they have all the momentum in the world right now. Edwards is trapped at the block. Loose change on the ground, and we get a whistle against Washington. The Huskies have been feisty on this end. Second personal on Savia Sellers. She's going to take a seat, replaced by Sienna Harvey. Washington was +5 in turnover margin in the first quarter, 6-1, and also turned those 6 turnovers into 7 points. The Huskies' success recently often predicated on winning that turnover battle. They forced 28 turnovers against Fresno State last week. It's most in a game since 2021. Now a whistle on the other end against Southern. That one's on Destiny Dixon.
Just as you were talking about forcing turnovers, they got another one. Just doing a really good job with their hands and staying clean. This is a beautiful cut by Hannah Steins.
A little okey-doke move. That ball fake that Steins uses can be so deadly. Reed from the corner, swishes it. 5 points now for the graduate guard from Arkansas. Came over to Southern from Mississippi Valley State. Steins takes the handoff from Grabovskaya. Now Howell on the penetration. Bumped and fouled, and the former Trojan will head to the free throw line.
And Hannah Steins does such a good job as we take a look at this three-pointer here from Jayla Reed. Hannah Steins kept that play alive. She almost lost the ball near half court, but she does such a good job staying composed and playing at a pace where she can control the flow of the offense. It doesn't ever get too flustered.
She's always the most composed player on the floor. She's never out of rhythm or running too fast. She's always under control, and something you really look for in a guard that's going to orchestrate your offense. Reed driving the paint, and it's off her leg, out of bounds. Husky basketball. Part of the trouble for Southern here is they don't have anyone averaging more than 7 points per game, with the exception of Zaria Hurston. There isn't a lot of depth on the offensive side of the ball.
And with that, you would think that they might try to implement a bit more of a motion offense and try to share the ball a bit more to get people open, not necessarily rely on individual play to generate their offense. But so far, they've struggled to do that. There have been a lot of possessions with 0 or 1 passes before a shot, and it's made Washington's job very easy for them.
So the shot clock did not reset here. When the Jaguars touched that basketball, they were out of bounds. So they did not secure possession in order to reset the clock, and thus Washington enters it with 2.3 on the timer. McGoy has come in to give Washington another offensive weapon who can shoot it, replacing Grabovskaya. Backdoor cut. Harvey breaks free and puts it in.
And that was just textbook side out of bounds play. Set the back screen. Looked like it could have been a flare, but then just a simple back cut, no help defense for a wide open layout.
Steins gets her hand on that shot. Hannah Steins saying this is a no-fly zone in the corner. As you look back at the, like you said, brilliant sideline out of bounds play.
And it was a good read by Sienna Harvey, too. I'm sure the play was for her to see whether or not that defender was going to go over or under that screen, and based on that, either flare or cut. And she read it perfectly and got maybe the easiest basket you can have in the game.
That was just the second turnover Washington has committed today, compared to 8 by Southern. As the Huskies continue to dominate the paint. The dozen paint points. That one's off glass and good from Demaya Porter.
Great job following her own shot there. Got blocked from behind, but kept with it. And pogoed straight back up to go up with the ball strong before anyone else could really react to where it was going.
First bucket for the sophomore out of Mississippi. McGoy's open for 3, and she buries it.
She's had a few of those opportunities open up for her this game, and finally one of them drops. They're letting her shoot, and it's good to see that she's not lost any confidence.
The first triple of Bryn McGoy's young Husky career, as there's a whistle on the other end against Harvey with Jalea Reed driving. And there you see McGoy teeing it up. Definitely a difference maker for Washington that they have a post who can stretch the floor like that.
Yeah, and especially the way that Washington runs their offense, that's especially valuable for them. They like spacing the floor, and they like driving to the basket and kicking out to open shooters who are relocating, and so having that ability to have an open lane.
Here's Jalea Reed, who had 9 points in Southern's win against Tougaloo, an NAIA school in Mississippi. Otherwise, it's all top 15 teams for Southern. They face this absolute gauntlet of challenging opponents, and it's not going to get much easier. After this, they still have road games against Arizona, Houston, number 15 Baylor, and Southern Methodist. Howell collects in the corner, and the Huskies look to run. Steins motors her way in and then floats it back out. And now Harvey's called for a push-off.
They got her on the arm bar there. Wasn't sure if I saw the extension as much on that. And Sienna Harvey wasn't very happy with the call either, but it's going the other way.
Second personal on the freshman. Southern looking for an offensive spark. But that one careens over the backboard from Hurston. still trying to find a rhythm out there as the Jaguars' leading scorer this season. And she's 0 for 2 from the floor in 9 minutes. McGoy coming off a 20-point outing. A career high for her, and the first Husky in a half decade to score 20 points in one of the first 5 games of her career. McGoy with the offensive rebound, back out to Howell. She slings it inside. Underhanded pass trickles into the corner. And the Huskies reset with 9 on the shot clock. Coppinger. Pirouette into the paint. And a beautiful kiss off the window.
What a tough move. Finishing that high off the glass after a spin move over 2 defenders. Just gorgeous.
The sophomore with 5 points now, extending Washington's lead to 16 as there is a whistle against the Jaguars.
A clinic.
Last year there was so much focus on the Huskies offense because they led the Big Ten in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, and Coppinger is firing for 3 from the corner, skips off, but this season the defense has been shining a little bit more. They're 3rd in the Big Ten in blocks and rebounds, and they're particularly good at rebounding on this end. No board opportunity there though. Olivia Delancey knocks down that elbow jumper. And Southern seeks to cut into the deficit. Steins on a backdoor cut. It's a charging call. Good job by the secondary defender here, and Cunningham stepping over to take the contact.
Yeah, and clearly set there the entire time. Great backdoor cut by Anna Steins, but maybe should have kicked it out into the corner for the open 3 instead.
Hall holding it, hands off for Delancey. Southern scoring just 51 points per game. Of course, they've played the 4 ranked teams. Lots of tough defenses like Washington. Another shot clock violation. And already the 10th turnover committed by the Jaguars.
And even though a lot of those turnovers aren't credited with steals, I want to say they've all felt like they've been fully forced by Washington.
The Huskies just a few games removed from 13 steals against Utah as McGoy taps it back up. The pogo stick to poke it in.
Yeah, and a strong move there to take it to the basket on that first attempt as well. Just didn't fall in, but again, good awareness to just go straight back up with it.
Delancey from almost the same spot where she hit one a minute ago, and then Hall swipes right through the arms of McGoy for a foul.
That was a nice little move there from Delancey, just shook Steins off her. Here we get a look at the tip-in rebound from McGoy. That's a tough shot to make, and great touch inside.
That's not a freshman play, that's a veteran play. McGoy, the highest rated recruit in Washington history, and they are stoked to have her here on Montlake. Brown stepped on the end line. She's pleading for a foul, resting against the stanchion, but the ball is turned over back to Southern.
And Southern is starting to fight fire with fire here a little bit more, getting more active on the defensive end, picking up full court and trying to make Washington a little bit more uncomfortable with the ball.
Destiny Dixon tests the baseline before slinging it back to Porter. Trying the up and under move and drops it in off the heel.
Hey, you'll take that roll any day. Again, a tough shot for Southern, but good composure to twist and turn in the air and get that shot up onto the rim.
And the Huskies turn it over again here. Now for The struggles that Southern has had early in the season, turnovers are not one of them. They actually entered this game almost even in turnover margin for the season, even though they're losing by 27 points per game.
And I think that's probably one of the
Tate gets a friendly bounce.
really one of the things that Coach Funchess wants to focus on in this difficult schedule to start off the season before conference play starts is see where their weaknesses are against these teams that are so fundamentally sound and strong, and learn from that going into your own season to try and defend that SWAC title.
Hannah Steins called for a travel there. Was surprised by the whistle. 3 turnovers in the last couple minutes by the Huskies, and the Jaguars are within a dozen. The Southern does average 10 steals per game, 3 more than its opponents so far this year. That 3 is offline from Cunningham, out of bounds.
Southern had been doing a bit of a better job getting into their offense, getting some motion going, some plays going, and right there again, another play where there's 0 passes and then a difficult shot put up. And you really just want to give yourself a chance at a good look, especially when you're down in a game.
Gina Langley shakes things up here for the final minute before halftime. Briggs and Grabovskaya back on the floor. The Michigan transfer throws it into the corner. Steins is open, but airmails it. Rebound for Coppinger. 4 on the timer. Briggs on a reload. You bet.
She might have been looking for the foul there too on the follow through on that shot. I think since she was a little off balance already, the refs decided that wasn't enough.
6 seconds between shot clock and game clock. And Southern's going to milk that ticker. Dixon from the mid-range. And it will stay Southern basketball.
Good look there for Southern. Dixon just didn't quite get her feet set and looked like she was still twisting when she took that shot, but it was open, and you've got to take those opportunities when they come to you.
Final 10 seconds of a low-scoring first half. That mid-range jumper skips off. Second chance for Edwards. Grabovskaya the rebound, and that does. So Washington brings its starters back onto the floor to open the second half, leading by 15. As the Huskies try to stay perfect on the season. Howell fires from 3 and finds the bottom of the net.
As we just mentioned, Washington looking to get Howell open. She's getting open and getting those good looks, and eventually they're going to start falling. And she nails that one right there.
And she's the first player in double figures tonight with 11 points. Hurston, Southern's leading scorer on the season, has to hand it off. Hurston's yet to score tonight. Skip pass into the corner, collected by Edwards. A wild shot, ricochets off. Steins corrals the rebound.
Southern's struggling to get looks for Sawyer Hurston. Just 2 shot attempts so far today. And if they want a shot at coming back in this game, I think she's got to get going a little bit more and take the lead as their primary scorer.
On the other side, how about the screen from Grabovskaya freeing up Howell for that tray? Washington 5 of 14 from deep in this ballgame, 36%. As Reed can't connect on that triple, and Grabovskaya will walk it up. Washington holding Southern to 32% from the field today. Obviously, outstanding defense to limit a team to 20 points and a half. 7 on the shot clock. Howell can't get it through the double team, and it's collected by Hurston.
A little bit of a collision there between Hurston and Edwards on the turnover. But she seems to be okay and has earned a trip to the line.
Strong move to the cup by the senior out of Baltimore. Drawing the foul on Howell.
They got her on the hip bump there. Wasn't square to the defender, and that's an easy call for the official to make.
The Southern was a 20-win team a year ago. Claimed both the regular season and tournament titles in the SWAC. Won a NCAA tournament game as well. And the program motto, we grind different. And you can see it in that latest attack of the hoop by Edwards. And this team is all out hustle.
And I like that. You know, even though you're down by quite a bit here and you face some tough opponents and have taken some difficult losses, I mean, they just work hard and always look to get better. And that's a mindset that's gonna help them a lot in the regular season and hopefully for them into their postseason as well.
Howell cuts back door and adds to her scoring lead, now with 13 points. Well, and you are grinding different when 4 of your first 5 opponents are ranked in the top 15 in the country. Not many teams are willing to schedule a gauntlet like that. Edwards forces it up. Grabovskaya tips it to herself. And Sellers fouled from behind by Reed.
And I do think that says a lot about the program and head coach Carlos Funchess' mentality with this team. I mean, they're just working hard and pressing full court, even though they're down by quite a bit, as we see that backdoor cut from Howell.
Washington with 9 assists on 14 made field goals, passing the ball really well tonight. Porter comes up with that steal, and then she's fouled at midcourt. So Howell picks up another.
Just a bit of a crazy matchup.
The women's program trying to bring everyone's blood pressure down a little bit with a game that's more in hand here early in the third quarter. But certainly not finished. Howell called for a travel at midcourt. Great defense by the junior Hurston.
And Washington's had to have a few players, different players bring the ball up because of Southern's full court press. And that time, Zoria Hurston able to make Howell uncomfortable enough and dribbled a little bit too high and then lost control of the ball. And that's how you're going to get back into this game, is by forcing turnovers and forcing the issue and trying to take back control of this game.
The Jaguars have had their problems this season. They are shooting 15 percentage points lower than their opposition as Hurston leaves that 3 short. Edwards gets on the rebound and they reset. But opponents are shooting much better than the Jaguars. They're being out-rebounded by 18 boards per game. Turnovers haven't been the issue. They're about even with their opposition this year, and that bucket from Cunningham gets them a little momentum here.
And that was a play after a missed basket, so it's a 4 second chance points for Southern.
Sienna Harvey glides her way into the paint, getting the Husky bench off its feet. Quick response from the Dogs. Offensive rebound for Southern, back up by Porter. Grabovskaya the board, and she's fouled.
Better looks here for Southern to come out of the timeout, They're pushing the pace a little bit more as we get a look there at the shot from Sienna Harvey. But Southern is, I think, now trying to make up some ground here as time runs out for them to be able to come back in this game.
The freshman McGoy faces up top of the key, the 7th McDonald's All-American in Husky history. Sellers open from the corner. Karams out, offensive rebound, and the Huskies will get a reset off the foul.
And Devin Coppinger is all over the offensive glass today. She's just been everywhere, sort of sneaking into gaps and disrupting the ball.
Washington with 7 offensive rebounds, leading to 10 second chance points. Capitalizing on those second chance opportunities. McGoy off the heel. Howell the stick back. Avery on the spot, and she's got 15 points.
Right place, right time again. Great awareness from Howell to read that rebound short and get the easy layup.
Hall, a tough hook shot, rebounded by Howell. Scramble for it on top of the Big Ten logo, and we got a tie-up.
Great crew to be a part of. It's a joy to be here.
You know, I don't think Southern would be upset if you guys adopted their motto, we grind different. You guys are grinding different. A lot of hard work being put in behind the scenes before, during, and after these broadcasts.
I thought you were going to say Southern wouldn't mind if we produced their shows for them, which I'm sure everyone would be happy to do, you know.
Yeah, figure out the Seattle to Baton Rouge private jet situation. Yeah. The Huskies force another shot clock violation. And this defense is just suffocating.
Yeah, suffocating's a great way to put it. I mean, it feels like you've got no room to breathe when you're dribbling and the defender's right up chest to chest with you no matter where you go. And it just makes life very difficult for you as a ball handler.
McGoy testing Hall. Great finish off the window, the hoop and the harm.
What a tough finish. I mean, it almost looked like she wasn't affected by the defender at all. There was a decent amount of contact there, but she just went up like it was nothing. Got the N1.
The freshman flexing on him and pushing the Washington lead to 22. McGoy, the Washington Gatorade Player of the Year last year in her senior season of high school, won a Washington State title, went 27-0 at Central Valley High. Ranked among the top 15 recruits in the country, and she's showing a lot of promise here in her first collegiate season. McGoy attacking the rim again, and she gets the whistle again.
I had an open lane there, but the help defender was able to just tip that ball out of her hands as she drove. I believe it was Demony Lagway who disrupted that. But Bryn McGoy has just looked excellent as a decision maker. I mean, she's so calm and collected, and as you said earlier, it doesn't feel like she's a freshman. She moves like a veteran and moves so under control, and it just looks like the game is slowed down for her already.
A couple weeks ago, she was named to the watch list for the Tamika Catchings Award, which goes to the National Freshman of the Year. So she's on the radar of folks across the country as one of the best diaper dandies in the nation. Washington on a 9-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. And a comfortable lead here late in the third quarter. Foul on the other end as Lagway attacks the cup.
It was a good move there from Lagway. I think Coppinger knew she was late on that. Did a good job of cutting off the drive initially towards the right, but then wasn't able to quite recover back into the paint.
Lagway, a transfer from Cal State Fullerton, played 3 seasons with the Titans, gradually expanding her role. Made 19 starts last year and is going to have a significant role with Southern here in her senior season. Howell tallies another rebound. Super impressive what Howell is doing on the glass to start this season. She's only a guard, but has good size at 6 foot, and she's leading the team in rebounds with 7 per game.
And I just think she just has a great sense of where to be and when to be where. And it's just a sign of a smart player. I mean, being able to read where a rebound is going to come off of a rim based on the trajectory of the shot is such a valuable skill to have as a rebounder. It's not just about how high you can jump or how hard you can box someone out, but knowing how to time those rebounds is huge.
McGoy has a dozen points. The Husky lead grows to 27. Washington on an 11-0 burst. Harvey gets her mitts on it. Collected by Porter. Dixon in the corner. And Coppinger fending off Jaguars. Briggs hoists up a 3. And a foul on the ground as McGoy tried to collect that rebound.
Yeah, I think Dixon just cut under her a little bit there. McGoy went straight up, but then the box out from behind is what she was called for. But I want to go back to that play. Sienna Harvey had a beautiful crossover to shake the defender to get into the lane, which left Chloe Briggs wide open in the corner. I mean, the shot didn't go in, but that was just a great play.
McGoy closing in on the season-high 20 points that she had in her last outing, now with 14 on the night. With the Huskies continuing the stifling defense, holding Southern to 28% from the floor. Putback is good from Porter. First bucket for Southern in over 4 minutes. Now they force a turnover. Strong defense by Tate, who outruns McGoy but leaves the layup short. And now the Jaguars take a breath. Harvey jumps into the passing lane. The freshman leaves it short, though. Good job by Wilson to get back and contest the shot. Huskies on a 13-2 run. Porter with the only bucket for Southern during that stretch. Now she's got back-to-back buckets.
And back-to-back putbacks, too. Just doing a great job of not giving up on the play and looking to be the first to the ball and putting that up quickly.
She's been a bright spot for Southern tonight. 8 points on 50% shooting and 5 rebounds in 17 minutes. Sellers trying to split a double team. It's knocked loose. Dixon curls around. Harvey goes all the way to the cup, and it's blocked out of bounds by McGoy.
McGoy took a shot there, it looked like maybe to the face, but did a great job of staying straight and not fouling on that. I mean, Southern's had a few good sequences here in the past few possessions, getting to the basket and getting some open looks. But McGoy doing a good job staying active.
McGoy is still grabbing her lips and checking for any damage done on that rack attack. And Tina Langley has convinced the refs that it's time to go to Tina Langley getting a full explanation from our officiating crew before we play the final 30 seconds here in the third.
And I guess what they were looking at was to see who the ball was off of.
Briggs was able to read that inbounds pass, but Jocelyn Tate gets it back. Rolls right into the front court, and now Wilson says, hold up, everybody. Shot clock's turned off. The Jaguars with just 8 points in this period. Tate breaks free. The runner spills off, and that does it for the third. Won a state title there, was the state's 2B Player of the Year as well before finishing out her high school days at Central Valley. Won another state title, was the Gatorade Player of the Year, and elected to stay in state for her college ball. Washington's thrilled to have her aboard as part of another sparkling recruiting class. Steins with 3 on the timer. Southern picks it up right before the shot clock violation. A whistle against Shayla Gilmer, battling inside for position with Demaya Porter. Gilmer gives Washington a little more depth in the front court, and we're going to see more of that depth with Olivia Anderson entering now.
Anderson is yet another great defensive presence for this Husky squad. He's a very solid contributor for Tina Langley, but did not play a lot last year, and we'll see her in action here today.
She was injured in December last year and sidelined for most of the season, so she wasn't healthy for the majority of last season. And they're hoping that her length can have an impact off the bench, especially when McGoy or Grabovskaya is in foul trouble. Anderson's another state champion in high school, won a couple of titles with Ellensburg. That was a 4-star recruit. And she'll be the anchor here of the Husky defense. Chaos Cunningham drops it off for Porter, got bumped from behind, back out to Cunningham. That one clips the rim before Harvey secures it.
Really nice pass there and a great play by Southern, where Chloe Briggs was perfectly on time for the help defense there to stop the layup.
Harvey in a straight jacket from Edwards and finally gets a whistle.
I think the left arm wrapped around the hip of Harvey there on the drive.
By the end, it was a bit of a bear hug.
Number 13, Anaja Hall is now in for Southern.
Anaja Hall comes back in for Southern. 6'5" center in the middle of the paint. And Harvey gets hacked again with Edwards trying to jar the ball loose.
Southern may be trying to match height with height here, bringing Anaja Hall in to match up with Olivia Anderson, who stands at 6'6".
Harvey for 3. Boarded by the Jaguars. Hurston inside. Rattles out. The tough night for Zaria Hurston continues. Again, she came in as their leading scorer with 11 points per game, but she's been shut out tonight.
Yeah, and a tough shot for her there too. Just try to elevate over Chloe Briggs, but didn't quite have the space, and I think she found herself in a bit of a weird middle ground between a layup and a jump shot. It's not her night.
She comes up with the interception here, tries to bulldoze her way to the cup. This one's waved off. Avery Howell called for a foul. She was asking for a traveling violation.
Yeah, I think she might have thought that Hurston took her first step a bit too long and dragged her foot maybe.
And there's a moving screen on Hall. A frustrating game for Hurston, and a multi-team event around the same time of the year, Thanksgiving week. Huskies won 61-43. Howell's wide open. Long rebound, tap toward midcourt. And it will stay Husky basketball.
And Hannah Steins had a fantastic night the last time they met. She had 18 points on 7 for 10 from the field with 6 assists and 4 rebounds.
This showing demonstrates the growth of the Huskies over the last year. Up by 25 early in the fourth quarter. Anderson gets her way to the 10 and puts it in. First bucket of the game for the junior. Tate faces up, barrels her way right through Chloe Briggs, and that will draw a whistle.
Yeah, lowered her shoulder there. We take a look at this bucket from Anderson. Calm and composed. Tough finish with the right hand there with the defender right on her. It's able to get the touch, the ball to roll in.
So unlike last year where Washington made that trip to the Bahamas, a very long one I might add from Seattle, they're staying home this year over the Thanksgiving holiday. They got 2 more games left in this homestand. They'll host UC San Diego on Friday and then San Jose State the following Monday. And I imagine this team is happy to spend Thanksgiving with each other, likely with family as well. Get a few more practices in on their home floor and limit the lengthy travel schedule they had last year. Edwards from the corner. Fires that one long. Double team coming at Harvey. She splits it and bats the ball ahead to Briggs. Howell open for 3. Bullseye.
Avery Howell making herself available once again. Just an absolute clinic from her tonight.
She's got 18 points, matching a career high. And Southern calls timeout. The Huskies take the inbounds pass away. Here's Coppinger going up against a trio of Jaguars. A blocking foul called on Deshante Edwards.
Not sure about that call there. It looked like Deshante Edwards might have been there on time, and I didn't quite think that it was such a clear blocking foul, but
in any case, it's her 4th personal, and Southern is over the limit, so Devin Coppinger goes to the stripe. Another in-state 4-star recruit, now in her sophomore season. Coppinger's from Everson, Washington, just south of Vancouver, British Columbia. She was a 3-time Conference Player of the Year at Nooksack Valley High School. Won back-to-back state titles, was named tourney MVP both seasons, and Tina Langley has just put up a fortress around the state of Washington, keeps bringing in the best players.
yeah, I mean, if you're a young player in high school in Washington, you want to come play for Tina Langley. You see the way that she's built this program and the success they've had and the culture that they've built. Where else would you want to go as your #1 destination?
The twist with Coppinger, too, her family was full of Washington State fans.
Oh.
And so she said their closets were full of Cougar gear, red Cougar gear all over the place. But they've traded that in for purple UW gear ever since she came to Montlake.
And she's been an excellent impact player for this team. Shot 42% from 3 last season. Was the only freshman on the team last year as well. And she's looked fantastic today too. Just a high effort workhorse.
She's got 6 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists in 25 minutes in this ball game. As Harvey draws the whistle. Neither side has been happy with the use of the arm bar or off-ball hand, and you see Harvey using it a little bit there, and Tate also putting hands on the shoulders of Harvey.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these fouls could have gone either way, and so you can't be too upset about any of the calls that have been made. But then again, you know, the emotion of the heat of the game and with the emotions going, you're going to want every 50-50 call to go your way. So maybe Southern there thinking ball don't lie with that kind of bounce.
The second one rolls home. Hurston in attack mode, but it spills off. We get a serious collision outside the paint. And the refs will sort this one out. Nina Keene getting her first minutes for Washington, by the way. Tina Langley fully unloading the bench here. With the obvious exception of Ella Dean, who's yet to play this season after she was named second team All Big Ten last year, and the Huskies will be even better once she comes back.
Yeah, what's been so impressive about this performance tonight is that, yes, Ella Dean hasn't played at all this season, but today, I mean, their leading scorer, Savia Sellers, really hasn't done much. I mean, she hasn't had to. There's been so much production from everyone else and such a great team effort by everyone that it just puts a lot of confidence in you as a coach if you're able to trust your players and put pretty much anyone in on the roster onto the floor and know that they will work hard and give you some great minutes.
And Sellers with just the 1 point, and then scoring average of 21 points per game will come down, but knowing how this team operates, I bet she doesn't care in the slightest. Humility and unity are a couple of the values of this program, and they are all so selfless. They could care less about where they rank in points per game as individuals. They just want to stack wins. So the Huskies not only stacking wins, but stacking players here for the sideline out of bounds play. And Gilmer is able to slip free. Smart double team from the Jaguars. Hurston knocks it loose. Dixon takes it to the hole. And there's a foul on Gilmer.
Yeah, and Gilmer took a big hit there, but clearly a blocking foul. She was, we take a look at the steal here, maybe a little bit of miscommunication on that pass and a good force by Southern. But Gilmer clearly still backpedaling and sliding in that and wasn't able to get back in position on time.
Even though Washington leads by 29, Southern actually leads in the turnover margin. They're +2. Dixon buries them both as we hit the final 4 minutes.
And really the difference has been everywhere else for Washington. I mean, their shooting percentages are much better. Of course, we talked about their defense, keeping Southern out of the paint, making shots, every shot difficult for them. And
Nina Keene puts it back up and in. Her first bucket as a Husky.
And the whole bench got up for that. Just a tough putback. And that's the kind of shot you remember where I mean, obviously it's your first make, but it's a tough one where you battle for the rebound and get a nice finish over a defender.
She scored over 2,000 points at McClatchy High School growing up in Sacramento. Well, they're not going to come as easy at this level. They become a little more memorable now. Gilmer to the rim, and we got a tie-up. They're waving that basket off for a jump ball.
Here's we get another look at this offensive rebound from Nina Keene. And here's that basket that was called off. I mean, it's a little bit quick to call the jump ball there.
Anderson for three. It's good. Her first triple of the season.
And everything's falling for Washington here in the fourth quarter.
That was also the first triple of Olivia Anderson's career.
We get a look. Nice, good, open rhythm three. That's Anderson's first, and also McGoy had her first three earlier. Nina Kane getting her first Husky bucket.
A traveling call against Harvey. She assumed there would be a foul, but that's the type of game this has been. It's been really physical, high octane, a lot of tempo with both teams pushing it up and down the court, and there's been a lot of cases where the refs have had to make a choice between a travel or a foul. Aubrey Wilkins getting her first minutes now for Southern as Delancey misses that shot. Harvey on the crossover, wrapped up, goes up with the offensive foul.
Oh, wow. I mean, just another play where Harvey did not think that that call was going to go against her. I think maybe lowered the shoulder a little bit. It's a strong move to the basket, but enough contact for the officials to call it an offensive foul.
Well, you're at the point in the game where you just don't want to see anyone get hurt due to excessive contact. Good take by Porter. And again, she's been the star for Southern. 14 points on 6 of 12 shooting with 8 rebounds.
And she's been relentless. I mean, not a lot has been easy for Southern, but she's done a great job of pushing through that Husky pressure and the physicality and staying composed and keeping your fundamentals on a lot of those finishes and a lot of those putbacks that she's been getting.
So we've been talking about all the great shooters and scorers that are on the floor tonight, and Chloe Briggs fits that mold too. Nina Kane had over 2,000 points in high school, right? Chloe Briggs had 3,458.
Wow.
Passing Cheryl Miller to become the CIF Southern Section career points leader.
Wow. That's quite the name to to surpass.
That's buried in her bio, but it is quite the highlight. And she still led her high school in career assists. So she was scoring and distributing. A foul on Anderson here, and Porter might get a chance to pile in some more points.
We'll take a look at this play on the rebound. Not too much contact, but maybe called her for over the back there. Maya Porter had good position under the basket, and Olivia Anderson just reached over.
Porter's one of only 4 Jaguars who hasn't played college ball anywhere else. She's only been at Southern. It is just her second year. She's a sophomore. But surely Carlos Funchess wants to keep her around for a couple more years the way she's playing.
Yeah, she's been a bright spot today. I mean, it has looked composed in moments of chaos and has sort of stepped up to the physicality and been really one of the only players who's been able to match Washington's pace and make anything happen offensively for her team.
Anderson tried to make lightning strike twice there. Now it's Briggs. The fadeaway from the baseline comes up short. She wanted a foul. Final 40 seconds. The Huskies close to making it 2 wins against Southern in 2 years. Nothing but net on the step back jumper. One final bucket from the Jaguars scored by Reed. She had the first bucket for them and now in all likelihood the last one. So the Huskies midway through this 5-game homestand remain in a rhythm. The defense is in lockstep. The offense firing on all cylinders. And the 22nd ranked Huskies